right, well, thank you everybody for coming today and joining us in Diker Heights. We are here because, as you know, last week we passed a big, beautiful bill in Washington, which is very beneficial for the people that I represent here in Staten Island and Brooklyn. We want to talk about some of the savings that the average taxpayer here in Brooklyn will be receiving. And it really starts with one of the biggest provisions, which is the return of, or the increase, I should say, of the state and local tax deduction from $10,000 to $40,000. This is huge for the people of New York, who have been taxed to death by our mayor, our governor, and the Democrats at the city council and in the state legislature. This means that the homeowners here will be able to deduct their property taxes that they pay to the city of New York, as well as their state and local income taxes. And that will be a huge savings. As a matter of fact, it can be upwards of $6,000 to $7,000 in savings for a family here in Brooklyn. This is one of the most important provisions for the people I represent, but there's a lot of other savings, right? What we've done here is also put in place an increase in the standard deduction, an increase in the child tax credit. The child tax credit under this provision will be $2,500 per child. We also put in something for our senior citizens. Senior citizens with incomes of $75,000 or less for an individual, $150,000 for a married couple, they will see a $4,000 senior deduction for each senior. So if you're a married couple with $150,000 in income, you will see an $8,000 deduction on your federal taxes. This would eliminate your tax liability on Social Security if you fall within those brackets. And the deduction does phase out as income increases, but mostly every senior citizen in our district will see some type of savings. So all of this combined is real money that will be kept in the pockets of the people of Staten Island and Brooklyn, the hard-working taxpayers and middle-income families that we represent, and I'm so proud to represent in Washington. Now, let me also just point out, because I have to point this out because there's been so much misinformation and quite frankly, lies about the Medicaid provisions. So I'm going to address them today. The Medicaid provisions, these first of all, we completely protect senior citizens, people with disabilities, children with disabilities, developmental disabled, our most vulnerable citizens, those that the Medicaid program was created for. Now, what we do is close loopholes so illegal immigrants can't benefit from Medicaid. And also, if you are on Medicaid and shouldn't be on Medicaid, that means you are a fraudster. You are taking advantage of a program of which you do not qualify. So we're addressing that by making sure we're checking people's eligibility status. Now, the only change would be a work requirement for people who are healthy. They are able-bodied, they are of working age, and they have zero dependents. And what we're asking is that those individuals work, volunteer, or learn part-time, 20 hours a week. And I think that is, and I know that is, because we've done, obviously, national polling shows that vast majority of Americans support that. And I think it is really important that people do contribute and work, volunteer, or learn part-time if they are able-bodied with zero dependents and of working age. And so nobody has taken anything from anybody. Nobody is being removed or kicked off, which is such a lie that is coming out from the other side of the aisle. But I just wanted to make that clear. They are assuming that people will not want to comply with those work requirements. So with that said, I want to turn it over to my partner in the New York City Council. He represents, as you know, Staten Island, but he also represents Diker Heights, Brooklyn as well, and that is Councilman David Carr.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. It's great to be here today championing this SALT deduction. It is absolutely crucial for homeowners in Southwest Brooklyn and Staten Island throughout New York City to have this deduction passed into law. So I'm joining with our Congresswoman today and calling on the United States Senate to enact the SALT provisions that were passed in the big, beautiful bill in the House, calling it the big, beautiful tax cut, because it truly is. It's going to make so many folks better able financially to stay in their homes. It's going to allow aspiring homeowners to maybe become a little bit more possible for them to buy that first home for their family. Every penny, every dollar counts, and this is going to bring real savings to so many homeowners. And what I'm thrilled about is, as somebody who votes every year on the city budget, I always vote against the tax class shares that the city adopts, because too much of a burden of our property tax levy is put on our 1, 2, and 3 family homeowners. And that's what Southwest Brooklyn is, that's what Staten Island is, that's what so many of our outer borough communities are, homeowners who live in that kind of housing. And the reality is that too many are being forced to look elsewhere to live because of that property tax levy. Long Island, New Jersey, even the Carolinas and Florida. Too many are looking to leave our city. This SALT deduction is going to help them stay in the communities they want to live in, that they chose to live in, that maybe generationally their family has called home for a long, long time. And so we want to empower people to make that choice, empower people to remain. That's what this SALT deduction does. And I really want to thank our Congresswoman, because as a member of the Ways and Means Committee, as a New Yorker serving on that committee in the majority, she was able to get this done. I don't believe it would have gotten done unless we had her voice in Ways and Means, her voice in the Republican majority in the House. And so I really thank her for championing this. It's going to mean so much to so many if it passes through the Senate. So to all the senators out there, definitely make sure that this passes and that this gets in the final bill. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, David. And I want to thank David for being one of the few city councilmen in City Hall that vote against increasing the property tax levy year after year, truly looking out for his constituents here and the hardworking taxpayers that are being taxed out of their own homes. And so again, it serves as a real reminder that the reason we need the SALT relief to begin with is because our mayor and our governor keep taxing us to death. They could easily cap the property tax levy. They could easily do that. That was one of the proposals actually when I ran for mayor. They could actually decrease personal income tax rates like President Trump did on the federal level in 2017. They choose not to do that either. Instead, they choose to continue increasing spending and wasting our hard-earned money, but I'm doing what I can on the federal level to provide relief and get you that money back. I want to also, is Joseph Locasano here? No. Okay, well, we have representatives from the Diker Heights Civic Association. We thank them for coming. And we have some members from the community board here. We do want to thank John Adesso, who is our homeowner, who graciously allowed us to conduct this event. And I also want to thank Ray Morales, who is here representing our new state senator, Steve Chen, who's also doing a great job in Albany. And we thank, he couldn't be here, obviously he's doing his job in the Capitol, but we thank him for his support of this very important provision.